What's up, guys? We are live. So we got a very special stream today, a stream that I would have never guessed I was ever going to do. We're going to demonstrate some really cool AI technology and how you can use it to come up with literally the best photos ever. So we're here with Julius. He's one of the guys. You're from my mastermind group, right? Initially,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Julius, one of you guys from my mastermind group, and he hit me up about I was going to say 3-4 months ago, and he's like, "Yo, I have this technology. I can do like really good AI photos." And I was really skeptical at first because I've seen some of these and they kind of suck, or they look too fake typically. But he did a sample of me, and I was like, "Holy shit!" And I remember I showed my girlfriend the photos, and she's like, "Oh, that's not really a photo of you." Like, so she thought it was that level of realistic. So at that point, I became intrigued. But yeah, Julius, why don't you just kick it off and just explain who you are and then how you got into this whole thing?
Yeah, sure thing. And thanks so much for having me here.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. right now. I'm sitting in Denmark, and sort of, just briefly, like my background. I'm 26 years old and just only finished high school here in Denmark, and then just been doing sort of my own startup stuff, since I finished high school actually. So the main way I make my living is I run this internship platform here in Denmark for like young students. But then on the side, I've been interested in of course, like the whole dating world, and that's how I found you initially, like actually many years ago, in the whole sort of playing with fire community, which has been really helpful. And then, like I'm just super nerdy and like to code and all that kind of stuff. So I've sort of, followed this whole sort of AI photo generation space actually for several years. I used to be a photographer when I was younger. Like that's one of the sort of the online businesses I wanted to get into. These stock photos where you sell your photos to, like on these big photo libraries. Like I used to run around with like my mom's iPad, taking photos and like trying to sell them online. And I got banned because they were too shitty. But I've just sort of like been in the whole photo space. And then I used to do like photos like when I was a bit older for my friends' Tinder profiles. I had the studio in my room, and like it's just always been something, both the photography, but also like the dating space and the photos there that's been sort of a side interest. And then I was following this the AI photo space for quite a while, and I could just see, even though I tried my best, like the base models were just not there. But then just around the New Year's, actually, I really had this breakthrough, which led me to contacting you. Where I got to this level where it went from just being cool to be like, oh shit, this is real now. Like actually, of course, not every time, not everything's perfect, but like you can actually get to a point now with the photos where people just cannot tell like whether something is AI or not.
Yeah, for sure. How long roughly did it take you from like beginning the AI thing to the point where you're at now?
I think I started experimenting around 2022, 2023.
Okay.
But
So it
hasn't
was a
been
few years in the making, basically.
yeah, not sort of a full-time continuous thing. I was running my internship platform and still am. But just starting paying attention there, experimenting for a few months here and there. And then I think around maybe December 2024, or like around Christmas holidays, I remember like at one point I was just spending 3 days in my bed. I just barely got out. I was just coding, like, holy shit, I think I'm making a breakthrough here. So yeah, like that's when I really got into it. And then after that, I was like, oh, there's something here.
Nice. I was actually thinking what we should do next is we should just show them the photos of me and some other example, so people can see by example what this technology is capable of, and then we can talk about how it works.
For sure. Do you want me to? Do you have them with you, or?
Yeah, just share your screen. I'll let you do it.
So let's see.
Welcome to the PWF Avengers universe, Julius.
Appreciate it.
The universe is constantly shrinking and growing. You never know. It's just sometimes it takes dark paths, and sometimes it,
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Slave was a dark era for PWF. That was when we were just the most shameless. All right, so
does that screen sharing work now?
Yeah.
All right. So I just have some of your photos here on the front page, so I thought it might just be the easiest way to show.
Yeah, let's go through these.
Right.
Like, damn, like.
So
that's just so fucking real looking.
Right. And essentially, of course, like I made these up, just out of
the only thing that's not real about the dog photo is that my husky has a lot more fluff Oh, he's not here right
Right.
now, but my husky's like a lot fluffier. But other than that, the me part looks like that looks like my face right there.
Yeah, we I think your husky was like in one or two of the photos, so it didn't really get included that
Yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah,
It feels a bit more like a wolf here, maybe.
yeah. Or just like skinny husky.
Right.
Damn, that's a really good one. So this one you made me more muscular because like with some of them you can so you have control over how muscular you can make yourself, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the AI is actually like generally sort of pretty like follows you like your general look like a lot. I would say it has a tendency to maybe make you 20, 10, 20, 30% better looking, but it's actually pretty close. Like one of the like few complaints that I've gotten is like one guy he thought that the photos look too much like him, you know. So
bro, I'm
yeah.
ugly. I don't want to look like myself. Fuck is this shit? I thought you were
So
gonna make me white. I'm tired of being Indian.
I think like I don't know. I think you had some of your like the photos I input of you where I don't know, maybe the lighting was really good or you was flexing a lot and then maybe that helped give an appearance that you were more muscular. But then as you're saying, like when you're prompting, when you're generating photos, you can, ask like muscular and then it will sort of enhance something or you can,
Nice.
leave it out and you can say skinny and it will sort of shrink you a little bit. So it's not like a full Photoshop where you can sort of control every aspect, but you can definitely sort of influence the like direction of things.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
me at the beach.
Yeah. So basically, like one of the cool parts I think is like just generating these sort of boring photos, like where it's cloudy or stuff like that. So that's some of the stuff that really helps, or like avoids the sort of AI flag that people have when they see something. Because if it's cloudy outside, it can't be an AI photo. Like who would make that? But I feel like that's some of the stuff that can help hide it.
Yeah. So wait,
Yeah.
this one. Okay, I for a second thought the one with the speaking. I have a speaking photo very similar to that. Uh, that's it. I for a second I thought that was a real photo because I have a photo very similar to that. That's
Okay. Nice.
that's crazy. But yeah, the speaking photo looks great. Uh,
Yeah. I never even saw that. Actually, like your speaking photo. So.
that's crazy. Yeah. Uh, yeah, that's a
And then
that's
of course, like selfie style, you can also just do like anything sort of boring.
yeah.
Essentially, you can sort of do however sort of mood you want. But I think these sort of slightly more realistic smartphone looking boring photos can usually like help
Yeah.
convince people that it's real.
Yeah, yeah. The one where I'm standing there with the sunset is really good. And then also the one with the backdrop late at night. That's good. I used to live in a building that had that same exact view. It's creepy how like real it looks.
Yeah, sometimes there can be a little bit of like I don't know, like a translation from like the photos you have of yourself. If that sort of reminds the AI of some area, I feel like if you don't prompt for specific backgrounds or specific clothing, let's say, whatever, it will sort of put you in a similar spot. So I feel like for some, like my own model, for example, if I do like me in a forest, like the forest will naturally look a bit Danish, for example. So it is sort of a cool feature that can sort of help.
Yeah, what I think like is special about your model is that it looks very real. Like I've tried apps like Slate, I think. I've tried a few of these AI things.
Yeah,
Uh, and they make me look good, but they don't look real. It's like you
right.
can look at the photo, and if you know what you're looking for, you can tell it's fake. Like with this photo, like for example, you cannot tell. Even if you know me pretty well, you can't tell that this is fake. Like,
Right.
and let alone a stranger who doesn't know me. But even if we're having this conversation, you're looking at my face, and if we didn't say that this was a fake photo, it would be entirely realistic for people to believe that this is a real photo where I maybe put a little bit of face up on.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course you can add the face up later if you wanted to, like
Yeah,
do a
yeah.
lot. And also like one thing to highlight, I guess, is that I made these photos, right? So if you are doing it yourself or we were sitting next to each other, then like it would be probably even closer to your look, because you would be able to point out that, oh, we should tell the AI that the hair has to be a little bit less curly or like, whatever.
Yeah, and that's like kind of the transition you've had because initially the technology was that you had to do basically everything yourself, and now you made it so that people can like basically just use the technology by themselves, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this was just something I made for myself in the beginning also. And then, after a month or so, I was like, oh, I really shouldn't it's not really good to have multiple things going on, right? Like if you already have one business, it can be a bad idea to do multiple things. But
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is, there's really something here. I should try and release it. And then, yeah, I was, we made a post in the group, and then, yeah, I just really caught a lot of interest. So I started like doing these photos just manually for other people, where I would, take their photos and I would manually train their models, and they would tell me like what kind of photos they wanted of themselves, and I would generate them. But it just became a lot of back and forth. And since there's so many variables in photos, and like the smile and the hair and the background and the clothing, and you can just keep going on and on with these revisions. So I just started like working in the background. I was like, okay, can I take this technology that clearly works, but I just have no idea how you could possibly automate this. And then I've just been, really coding a lot here for the last, 5 months. It's been now, honestly, 6 months almost. And just finally turn it into sort of a real tool that people can access now, where, you can actually make your own photos without having to like buy an expensive service from me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is like the first real alternative to a photo shoot, because
Yeah.
photo shoots are good, but there's only very few good photographers out there. Most photographers suck. So if you want to work with a good photographer, you have to like fly to Florida. And if you're someone who lives in like fucking, I don't know, like fucking Croatia, that's a big ass expensive trip. And photo shoots are not cheap, because it requires a lot of manual work by the photographer. So photo shoots by default are going to cost more than this, just because of the amount of legwork involved. And furthermore, I would say this: I think the point where your technology is at, this is as good, if not better, than the best professional photographer.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I think like, of course, I have to be careful what you say. But yeah, I think so too. At least like, of course, some photos are gonna be like, the hand's gonna be fucked up or something. But
Yeah.
definitely sometimes, or I would say even at this point, like pretty often, you get like extremely high quality. And also just being able to produce super high variety, where if you go to a photographer, they might have their, like a set of places they always go to. So your photos end up looking like, or could end up looking like other people in your city, for example. Or like, let's say you had a past like trip, vacation somewhere, then of course the photographer can't go with you to some tropical place, but like now you're able to sort of recreate past experiences and show off your lifestyle. Or
Well, I
maybe
think the
like,
bigger issue is that some people are not photogenic. Like some people just do not do well. Like the photographer does everything right,
yeah,
but they're just not photogenic. Uh,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sort of one of them, not completely, but I have to take like 300, 400 photos to get one good one. I'm just generally not photogenic. I can't
yeah,
smile. It's like me smiling. It's super cringe. Like I can't really. So yeah, it's tough, especially
yeah,
for a guy who's nervous and they're in their head. Like yeah, and this is just like a good alternative that is cheaper, doesn't involve you leaving your house, and is probably more of a sure bet. Well, let's take a look at some more examples. Maybe show an example of someone else.
right. Yeah, let me do that. But yeah, I feel like that goes for most of us, I guess, in this whole like online dating space, is too much thinking, right? So it crosses over into the photo world as well. I definitely feel that myself as well. Yeah, I can.
Sure,
I guess I can.
let's do an Asian guy.
Let's do an Asian guy. We have Jason here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, all good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Nice. Yeah, again, just a selection of different photos. You can sort of choose whatever vibe you're going for, essentially. So if you just want to be a pretty guy in the forest somewhere, or if you want to be out playing golf, or if you want to visit, where is this? Is this? Yeah, I can't remember. One of the major cities in Southeast Asia, at least I know he went to. So like we recreated that photo.
Well,
So you can basically really get to showcase your like different hobbies, and also like it is possible to generate these more sort of professional looking photos where the background is a bit blurry. I feel like those can be nice to have maybe one off in your profile, but I do hear from people that if you use many of those, then even if like they're all sort of real photos from a photographer, if all of them look like too good, then you seem a bit weird. Like why would you have sort of a full set of professional photos?
yeah, you need some natural looking photos. I would say that like you have control over how like much like I would honestly, if I was him, I would go much further up on terms of like the like improving your, not that he's unattractive or anything, but like like that scale of realistic versus like higher SMV. I would definitely lean more on that side. These photos are like too realistic, not too realistic, but they're so realistic that there's still room for improvement, type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, I get it. I think also some of the photos I'm showcasing I made for the like the homepage here because I wanted just to
Yeah,
like
yeah,
my nerdy side want to show that you can create something super boring. But I get it. Like I think also if you're like I'm not an expert essentially on like what is the best photo for the dating apps. Like it's going to be more you and some of the other experts, right, in the Playing with Fire community. So like some of those people are gonna be able to give you better tips on like what pose or background or like what shirt you might be wearing or like what vibe to go for, where I'm just trying to show that anything is possible really. And I guess some of these like they've become too casual.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's very synergistic with being a mastermind member because you can get all the photos and then you have me pick them for you. So it
Yeah,
works out well. Let's take a look at some of yours.
yeah. And then like especially because now you can make so many, right? So it's it can be hard to pick even, so it's really helpful if you have the group of guys like all sharing their experience with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, these are some of the photos that I'm using on my profile. And like for example, one time I was on a date here recently, and I was like in this whole sort of headspace with generating photos, and it was like just on my mind. And then I ended up bringing it up on the date, which you probably shouldn't do.
Mhm.
But yeah, then she was like, "No, but you're not using these AI photos, right?" And I was like, "Wait, you can pull up my Hinge profile," and she had a look. And she was like, "No, these are not AI, right?" And then I asked her to like go through and guess with all the photos, and she
Mhm.
basically guessed all of them wrong. Like the only photo she
Wow.
thought was real, or like she thought was fake, that was a real photo.
Huh.
Um, so yeah, it like, and even me standing next to her and having told her. So yeah, it's super funny.
Yeah, these are real looking as fuck. And like not all of these you will use in a Tinder profile. This is just like a
Yeah,
wide spectrum.
like
But
this one I don't use, for example, but
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah.
the rest of them I use, and some of them maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. And I think this one I don't use either. This one I don't use. Yeah, I don't use these either. Some of these can look like a little bit. I mean, maybe you would only have this if you were like a GoPro athlete, something
Yeah,
like
that
that.
one, yeah, I wouldn't use. Th-
But yeah, just to showcase some different stuff.
Yeah, that was good stuff. Let's run through a few questions and then we'll get into the demo.
Yeah,
Uh, Hey Alex, I tried to take away with a girl, but it backfired. I told her that I liked her profile picture. I texted her after she left me. I said, she said no, but yeah, just a girl who wasn't interested. Like this is just like a takeaway doesn't work 100% of the time. It doesn't even work 50% of the time. Some girls are just not interested. And there's nothing you can do about that. So yeah. How do we upgrade your photos? Is this an app you have to use or what? How does it? It's a website, right?
yeah, yeah. It just works on the website.
Yeah. Okay. Easy. Uh, AI, how is this any better than catfishing that we slate women for? Well, this is not, this is just looking at it from like a moral perspective is just so silly here. At the end of the day, the vast majority of girls look better in their photos than they do in real life, right? When you get a professional photo shoot, what you're doing is you're trying to make yourself look better. That's what a professional photographer does. This is the same thing. At the end of the day, what matters is consequences. And if girls literally after meeting you can't tell the difference, like if the girls are not upset, then you're just virtue signaling by trying to like make it like an emotional issue. Like it's just the end of the day, is there a victim? Well, if the girls think you look just like your photos, then no, there's no victim. But again, you want to like virtue signal and just be like, oh, this is not right. Then that's your prerogative. Just people are going to outcompete you.
And if I can chime in here as well on this,
Mhm.
I mean, the one way I look at it is many girls, they might, if they're at some location, stop and take 200 selfies to get the perfect light and hair and background and everything like that. I think many guys are not really into spending, 1 or 2 hours just doing
Yeah,
that. So this is also one way of like, you could take this perfect photo that you can generate with AI, but then you would just like lose 2 hours with your boys at some place you are. So this is just one way to get the good photo without having to spend all the time like when you're actually in the moment and just want to be enjoying yourself.
yeah, for sure. Okay, here's an interesting one, bro. I paid for multiple photo shoots and they all flopped. And examples they show were not the ones where girls would tell me they're fake on dating apps. Yeah, like not all dating coaches are the same. Not all AI services are the same. But this one looks pretty good to me. Don't you have a money back guarantee or something like that? Do you still do that?
Yeah, yeah. I'm willing to. I forgot if I put it on the new site here, but I'm definitely willing to do like a full, like if you're not happy with the photos, like a full money back guarantee.
Yeah, so you have nothing to lose. Whenever you see someone that has a money back guarantee, typically means they're confident in their stuff, which is why typically the people who don't do money back guarantees are not as confident with their stuff. It's just a simple fact of life. Uh, Another, this is a scam. How can it be a scam if you can get your whole money back if you're not happy? Like I don't understand what the fuck. Like people just want to bitch. Can it add other people in the picture, like a pic of me with girls in a club? Good question.
Yeah, so this is one of the weak points right now. Usually, if you generate group photos, it does have a tendency to put make everyone look a little bit like you. So you might see like a girl version of yourself in the background. So that's a bit of an issue. What you can do if you want other people in the photo is usually do like a face swap, where you would take someone else's photo and put your photo on there with AI. Currently, the website doesn't have that feature yet, but it's like very close to all like the underlying technology I have. So I will be adding the face swap feature within like 1 or 2 weeks.
Okay.
And in that sense, you could like take a photo from like your friend's Instagram or whatever, and you could like plot your face on one guy, or you can even like mask over his whole body, and you know he's going to be a bit slimmer or bigger or like whatever. But that's the best way to go about the group photos.
Okay. Also, there's nothing wrong with having a bunch of photos by yourself. The idea that you need social proof photos is a massive myth. I have never, or at least for, let me say it like this, for the last 4 years, 5 years, I have not ever used a photo where there's another person in my Tinder profile. It's just me. There were small periods where I tried photos with other people and they didn't really result in any results. So generally speaking, for pretty much my whole Tinder career, which is like a decade, I've only ever used photos by myself. And I get a shitload of matches. Like I'll recreate my profile for an experiment recently. I cleared like, what was it, like on Bumble was like 100 likes in like 24 hours or something like that. Like obviously it slows down after the new boost wears off, but even when it slows down, I'm still getting 10, 15, 20 likes a day. And on Tinder it's even more. And that's just solo photos of me. Like you don't need social proof photos. It's just a myth. I don't know where that idea came from. I guess it sounds good in theory, but it's not actually true.
Was it more of a thing like earlier in the dating apps days where it would be a bit awkward, or?
No, I don't think it was ever a thing. I think it's just something that someone said that people kept repeating.
Yeah, okay.
Because the idea of social proof works in real life, right? Like it's like, well, if it works in real life, then it's probably necessary for dating apps, but it's just not. Like I've tested pretty much everything that has to do with Tinder, and like all my testing has showed that it doesn't make any kind of a difference. In fact, I would argue that the majority of people fuck up the social proof photo and actually hurts them more than it helps them. That's been my
Yeah, I believe that.
like 90% of the time it hurts them rather than helps them, is my observation. Okay. Have you ever been to Cleveland? No, never. And you're in Europe, so I'm assuming you haven't been there either.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess let's do a little demonstration then, maybe next. So let's
Yeah,
just kind of show off the technology.
sure thing. So let me just share my screen here again. So basically, when you are logged into the site here to unrealphotos.io, as it's called, the first step you have to do on this tool here is generate your own model. So I have some examples of like just a PDF of like what's good and bad training photos, what's required. So as you see, like this is the way I made my own model. Like you just take sort of some selfies of yourself, and or like even better is like upper body portrait, where you put your phone maybe on like I don't know, a book and take a step back on a 3-second timer. Oops. So just like basic photos like this is good, and then also a mix of like some older photos or some travel photos, this kind of stuff. Yeah, doesn't have to be like fancy photos, but just have to like at least show your face clearly. And then you upload the photos in here, and you click start training, and then you wait about 5 hours, and then you have your own like AI model you can use for the whole time. And then after that, you can go to the create page where you can actually like create photos of yourself. So there's some different presets in here, like sort of just suggestions of photos you can make, or you can create your own like custom where you just make your own prompt or your own reference photo. So for example, if I pick one here, we can just, I don't know which one we should do. We can do the balcony one here, for example.
Sure.
So how it works, and I think this is a similar way to the one I made the balcony photo with you also, is there's these are sort of the suggested settings. So for the presets, I wouldn't change them. But if you want to do a custom, you can input your own stuff. But basically, you can input a photo here. Can I see? Okay. Well, I guess you can see anyway. But this is a photo just like of a random balcony, even without a person in it. Okay. And then what we say here is below we can say how much should the photos look like the reference. And if we put the slider here all the way to the left, like where it's quite different, then this will just be serve as like a base of like the vibe, or like the fact that it's a smartphone photo where the background is visible and that sort of thing. Even so, it's not going to look very much like this.
Okay.
And then you can do sort of a like a very loose prompt where you say model. That's the word you use to sort of reference yourself. And then you can just do standing on a balcony, and then you can say wearing a nice casual shirt, for example. You can specify however you want it. And then we can change the amount and the aspect ratio if you want to, but I recommend just leave it as like 3:4, which is the exact aspect ratios that smartphones use. Again, basically everything I've done is to optimize for everything looking like a smartphone photo. So it just looks as real as possible.
What's the difference between create my own model and use test model?
Yeah, so basically if you sign up, there's like a free version where you can use the test model, which is basically my model. So if you just want to try it out, make sure it works, so you can do this for free.
Oh, cool.
On my account here, I haven't made my own model, so I'm also just going to use the test model, but of course it's going to be the same thing because it's mine anyway. But then it's going to start generating these photos. So here it's generating 10 photos, and this takes about, if like a lot of people using the website, is faster, and if you're the only one, it takes a bit longer time, but a few minutes basically. But I can just show you, like in the meantime here, some of the past photos. I was just generating some today to create these presets. Like this is all new, and I'm going to be adding more. So just to show you like the consistency, this is one of the other presets here, for example. Like the overall vibe actually looks good basically in all the photos. And then sometimes you get some weird stuff where, I don't know, like here, for example, I don't know if the glass looks a bit small maybe, or here maybe my finger merges into the table. So yeah, like stuff does fuck up, but that's also why like it generates 10 photos by default, or we see it's already like going off right now. I'll show you in a bit. But like you just generate a lot, and usually there might be like a small thing off with like half of them, but if you have 10 photos, then you already got like a few good ones.
And you get like unlimited generations, right, when you sign up, or how does it work?
Yeah, so the plans, if I just go out to the homepage here, I can show you here. So basically, if you do like one of the subscriptions, either the monthly or the yearly, you get 1,000 photos per month, which is just a shit ton. And then if you do the lifetime deal where it's a one-time payment, you get unlimited photos.
Oh, create 1,000 photos per month. 1,000 is a good amount though. 1,000 should be enough. Yeah. Is there an option, like let's say hypothetically speaking, someone runs out of the 1,000? Is there an option for them to just like pay more for more generations a la carte, or?
Yeah, I mean, you could. My email is on there. You could just send me an email, and then we can figure something out. I don't expect anyone will, but yeah, it's not like a deal breaker.
Right. And then I saw something in there about how to avoid AI detection. Can you talk about that?
So I've actually just, it's a big thing I've just started diving into recently. So basically, what I did in the beginning was I just tried to make, like when I made photos for myself, I would just make photos where I thought they looked good, and then I would remove the metadata. Like there's EXIF data, like some settings along with all photos that cameras take. And then sometimes if you use AI services, they might have like the prompt in there. So if you upload it to Tinder, it's going to be really obvious that, oh shit, it's made with AI. So I would remove the metadata and I would upload it. That was about it. And that's been working really well for me and a friend of mine that's also using it. But then some of the people where I made these photos from, like two guys, they mentioned that when they uploaded some of the AI photos, they like had a little bit of a decrease in visibility on the apps actually. So I started diving more into it, and basically I just put this whole guide together. So First of all, what's interesting is actually both Hinge and Tinder actually don't have an explicit ban on AI photos. They just say that you shouldn't look fake, essentially. So that's like a really good start. This is actually not against the terms anywhere. Like you just have to look good or like look like yourself. But then, of course, like as I said, like they might decrease your visibility if they detect obvious AI. So the way to avoid that is, of course, first to generate like a realistic looking photo. And then the second thing is that when you click the download button on the photos here on this page, I have like written some code which does a lot of magic. Basically, it removes the AI, or the metadata from the photos. It sets the file name the same as a smartphone. It scales the pixel size up to the exact same dimensions as a smartphone, and then it adds some slight noise and distortion and other artifacts, which like a real camera has actually, and then just adds those into sort of these photos to make them look more real. And then these like changes are really hard to see for us, but they actually really help fool the like AI detection algorithms. So I found these two sites here where you can actually upload photos to see if they look like AI photos. So these are really cool. It's called Site Engine and Decopy AI. Both of these are free to use, so you can also try these if you have AI photos from other places. But
try using like maybe one of mine or your photos to show that it passes the test.
Right. Yeah, I have some actually just to show you like the download feature. For example, I just had the before and after prepared. So this one here is before the distortion and noise and all that I talked about before, and then this is after. So you see this like really made a big difference. Or here also from 84 to 1%. So this is just to show.
And that's just like some of the code on your end, basically, right?
Yeah, this is basically after the image is generated, when you click download, just adding some small noise. And even though like we can't really tell a big difference looking at the photo, it looks similar. Yeah, just this manipulation can just fool the AI detection algorithms.
And just want to clear it. So this is something that's done when the person doesn't really have to do anything themselves. It's done for them, right?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say we take one of the balcony photos here, for example, which were just generated. So
that one's pretty good.
Yeah, this one looks pretty good. So when I click the download button, what you'll see, it takes like 5 seconds to download because it's doing all these like manipulating the photo basically in the backend. Maybe I should try and make it a bit faster. But yeah, okay, 10 seconds, let's say. And then if I open the photo here, right now I have the noise set up pretty high. So if you see, if I zoom in, you see like there's more noise now up here in the sky, and also like I have more noise in my face. You can, I think I'm going to make an option where you can disable this if you want to, but essentially let's try and upload this photo. So again, I haven't tested this, but we'll see. So you get 14%, and then if I do it in here, and I guess in the meantime I can download this photo. So this is before the noise detect or the noise difference. So if I upload the original,
it's not likely to be AI generated. That's basically all that matters. Yeah, and then that's a big difference.
Yeah, so you see, actually, like even if you have a realistically good-looking photo to human eyes, the algorithm might still flag it. But then the technology I added on top of that, so you see here also 0.1%. But the technology I added on top basically like completely fools the algorithms.
Nice, that's epic. Let me just
So this is pretty cool actually, from 0 to 100.
How well does it handle tattoos?
Yeah, so I don't really have any photos right now. I can find them just off screen, but basically it is one of the issues as well. What you need to do is, if you have tattoos you want in your final photos, you need to have training photos where the tattoos are clearly visible on you, or like if you want to include them. So not like a photo directly of like the arm, let's say, with the tattoo on it, but just you where you can see the tattoo.
Yeah, the tattoo then be visible, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and then AI will almost always place the tattoo on you. So let's say you have one on your shoulder and you're shirtless in the photo you generate. You will almost always get a tattoo on the shoulder, but the design of the tattoo might differ a little bit. So if you have something that looks a little circle-ish, I don't know, lion head, let's say, it will still have the same sort of vibe to it, but it might be, I don't know, a tiger or like something in that range. So like if you have like your whole body tattooed with super clear tattoos that you will definitely know if that's not the case, it doesn't work that well yet. I will gonna be honest, but it places tattoos on you. It's the same size. Like it's maybe I can find a few examples.
Yeah, no girl is sitting there analyzing the tattoos in your photos and then comparing them to real life. Like, hey, your tattoo was a lion in your photo. Like, never happens. Like,
Yeah,
we have a
hopefully
lot of
not.
people in the mastermind who've tested this, and no one so far hasn't had an issue with. I don't recall a single case where someone was like, "Yeah, a girl called me out," and
Yeah.
we've done how many? 20, or how many have you done?
You mean people that I made photos for, or since I
Yeah,
started? Yeah,
like
something along those lines, 15 maybe.
yeah, 15, 20, and no one's had any issues. Uh, yeah, and no one's had any issues getting banned or kicked off. Like none of that.
Right.
Even before he put that thing in there about that strips the metadata. Even back then, we didn't really have any issues like that. I mean, if I thought that was a thing, I probably wouldn't be promoting it on my channel because the last thing I need is a bunch of pissed off people emailing me telling me their Tinder got banned. So
Yeah. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, I have some examples with tattoos, but it's from a guy who I know he didn't want to be a reference like on the
that's
homepage,
all
so
good. Yeah,
I
let's
don't want
just
to
not
show
show them that.
his.
We just move on. Can you give prompts for good, confident posture and body language? So, are you able to change your body language and posture to make it better?
Yeah, yeah, you are. So when you either use a preset or if you do a custom, there's like a prompt box and you can write whatever you want in there.
Oh,
Usually, what I find is shorter prompts without you having to be too nerdy about it works better.
oh,
So if you just add something like, let's say, model walking confidently down the street, or model confident, relaxed look, or like sitting confidently, or stuff like that, or it could be like model enjoying himself, or like just simple phrases like that works well. Um, yeah, sometimes the AI might make your like hands crossed a little, or like small posture, and then you could try and do like spread legs or like taking up space and stuff like that. But I wouldn't suggest going too nerdy with it because it can. Usually, it's better just to do 10 photos and then with a shorter prompt and just get some variations and pick one you want because you cannot like exactly control everything.
yeah, it's the same thing for fire text. Like you want to keep it to a sentence or two. When people write like a paragraph or two, it like gets confused sometimes. So
Yeah.
simple is always better. Here's an interesting question: can I upload more than one model to use?
No, so as of right now, you can only do one just to avoid abuse, where one guy would like resell it under like and buy it and that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's true.
So like if you have issues with your first model, you can maybe reach out to me and we can figure something out. But by default, you can only do one.
Oh,
Then you would have to just create a new account if you wanted to, yeah, like add
oh.
like do for another person.
Yeah, Julius is very flexible. You can just reach out to him and he'll have he'll figure something out. Realistically, how many good photos can you get from 1,000 uses? I'd use this to farm IG pigs too.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I think like you just saw, for example, with the 10 photos I generated, like we just picked out one immediately, which was quite good. So I would definitely say one out of every 10
No,
would
no, no.
be good. And then in the beginning, you might fuck up the prompts a bit more. So maybe use my presets, you get good results, and you're like, okay, I want to do my own. You try some, like you mess maybe up a little bit more, and then you learn it, and then even more is good. So yeah, at least like 10%.
So that would be at least 100, which will be
Yeah,
pretty
that
good.
would be 100 per month. Yeah.
That's way more than you can even post on your IG.
Yeah.
Like 3 photos every day. Um, 300 monthly up to 1,000 pics. Come on. Yeah, I mean, like, again, if this is like the 1,000 pics, an arbitrary number. Like, it seems like no one really hits that number because you're going to get, so it's more of like 300 for 100 good photos, right? Like, a professional photographer will charge you 1,500 for 6 photos. So, if you look at it in terms of that, it's actually a pretty good deal. I don't know. Do you have any promotions coming up, or is there any like promos you have or anything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna like I don't have anything planned. Of course, it might be an option in the future, or
Okay.
like I don't know. But so far, like the prices are like the best offers on the site, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's just been a shit ton of work, really. When I was doing this manually for people, I was charging 1,200
Yeah.
plus. Of course, we did some discounts for the very first people who tried it out. But essentially, like the AI, like this is the only AI tool that, as far as I know of, that can generate completely realistic photos. So, if I'm coding half a year in my room without going out,
No,
I need this
I feel you, man. Yeah, I feel you. Okay, let's see. How good of a job do I have to do cropping my source photos? I don't
Yeah,
understand.
so I think if you're talking about the reference photos you upload to like create something similar, it actually auto crops them to the aspect ratio you're generating photos in. So you don't have to do anything.
Sweet. What's the best dating app would you recommend? It just depends on where you live, your what kind of girls you like. But I always say Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge are the three big ones, and they're the three big ones for a reason. Field can be good as well, but you're not going to get as much volume through there. But yeah, I'd say stick with the big three. Can I do local areas? Could I put a prompt for a certain city or at least certain landscape in? Oh, that's a good question. He's like, yeah.
Yeah. If it's like famous landmarks, as you saw one of the photos we showed earlier, then it can definitely do that just from a text prompt. If it's more of a local unknown area, the best way to replicate it would be a reference photo of that area. And then you saw with the balcony, it would like emulate the vibe, and you can drag the slider so the photo you generate looks more like the reference. So maybe another guy has a photo in that area, or maybe it's just a photo of the area with no people in it, but it will still work. So that's probably the best way to do it.
So the short answer is yes, but it requires a bit of extra work.
Yeah, you upload a reference photo from that area. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Never thought we'd get this question, but fun question. Can I create dick pics of me to send to girls?
So the base model has not been trained on nudity. So I think I
Julius
tried
does
to.
that himself. That's and he throws it in for free. So you just email him all the dick pics. You want to get different angles, different dicks too. Play around with black ones, Asian ones, and then he'll just craft that for you.
Yeah, essentially, if you've seen Attack on Titan, or if you've seen like one of those Barbie dolls, right? That's how the dick you're gonna get, like a little round, like you can become nude, but it doesn't make the nude parts of you.
That's an interesting question, though. But yeah, what we should try. I think this is something like a lot of people are going to want to do. Is let's take like a photo of me or you or whoever, and give us muscle, like give us more muscle,
Right.
like show like how muscular this can make you.
All right. Let's go. So yeah, I can just do it of myself since I'm logged into my account with my model right now.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and again, I don't have a reference photo. Do we have any of these? I guess we could use this one actually. So we have this one in a lake. This is also using a muscular guy as a reference photo, but it's not necessary. So right now, you see the prompt here is model standing confident in the lake in the jungle, wearing black swimming trunks. What you can do is you can, if like earlier in the prompt, like the word start, the more weight they have usually. So I could probably say like showing his huge muscles, huge jack muscles. I don't know. Usually, if you add more words, you can also like add more weight to stuff. Yeah, and let's just start generating these. So again, it's probably going to be a few minutes or 1 or 2 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. In the meantime, we can just do more Q&A.
Sure.
Yeah. Kind of make me black. Just kidding. LOL. That would be funny.
Yeah, actually, it might. So, like maybe 1 out of 200 times, I do end up as black. I don't know why. Like in the generated photos, and so yeah, I think if you ask for it, it might do it. We're getting some photos now here already. So
yeah, you look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in these.
Yeah.
I think. But you can adjust that and just get rid of like just say like kind of jacked or whatever.
Yeah,
That's
so
that one. No, that's the one.
Yeah.
That's a really.
So even with the same settings, it does vary.
Yeah, that's a solid one right there.
Yeah, and you can play around with it, of course, right? That's good
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah. That's pretty sweet. All right, let me do a few questions. Alex, how many of the 6 pictures should be AI? Um, well, the thing is with this with Julius is that it doesn't look too good. Like it can generate ones that look just okay. So they could technically all be AI, or they could one of them could be real, or two of them could be real. There's really no right or wrong answer because this can generate photos that are not too good, which is an issue that exists with every other platform I've seen. Is that the photos just come out too good like every time? But again, right now we're using a prompt that's like designed to give you a shitload of muscle. But as you saw, like with the previous time we had generate, there were photos in there that like didn't really look too good. They just looked decent.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the important part is like you cannot have like 6 epic photos. You can have maybe like 2 crazy looking ones, and then you need maybe 4. At least in Denmark, you have to be a little bit conservative. I know. So yeah, only like 1 or 2 epic photos, and the rest has to be a bit more subtle.
Yeah. Uh, I'm just curious to see the last one. Is the reason it takes some time is because this requires a lot of computing power?
Yeah, so essentially, like behind the scenes, I haven't gone too much into this, but I'm renting like the world's most powerful GPUs, costing like tens of thousands of dollars,
Oh
depending on
wow.
which exact model. So it's just renting these sort of briefly for seconds essentially to generate the photos, but it would just be impossible to do on your own computer unless you have your own data center.
And is that what makes the difference between like those like cheap apps that you can download that do this for you? Is it really the computing power that makes the big difference, or?
It's actually, I mean, of course, if the computing power is too low, it can set a bottleneck and you can't do sort of the full quality. But for the most part, all the apps use similar computing power because they rent from some of the same places, like the same way that a website you might use the same.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
understand.
so that's not the bottleneck for high quality. It's all the parameters and the settings and the training details and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. So in a couple weeks, we can add girls in the pics, like a yacht pic with a bunch of girls, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can show you already now. Like if I do like model standing with a group of hot girls, let's say. Um, I'll just show you the current state of things. But yeah, in a few weeks you can do the face swap. So if you have a group photo, then you can reliably put your face and someone else in there,
Mm.
and the whole photo will look good because it's already a real photo. Like within 1 or 2 weeks, maybe in 1 week, I think already I'll have it done. But before that, so here's an example already. So what you'll see is that the girls, they do look a little bit like me, like in their face, because the model is trained so heavily on my face that it has a tendency to, like, if you don't, yeah, if you just prompt
I
for,
think you would have to prompt and say like on a yacht or something like that, so it's not just like standing around.
oh yeah, I mean, definitely that too. This is maybe a bit weird photos, but um, I mean, I don't know if you can see, but their facial features is just pretty similar to mine, so it looks a bit funny. Of
Yeah,
course,
so I can sort of see it.
it's a quick prompt, so if you do like a reference photo, you can make a better photo overall. But the main issue is just that like we just look like sister and brother. I don't
Oh,
know.
no, I don't think that's the main issue. I don't think I can see now that you pointed it out, but that's not where my mind goes initially.
Okay, I mean, you could try in that case to just make a better prompt and use reference photo. Like if we used one of I don't know which one might lend itself to a group photo.
I would just like, or even that one, but make it on a yacht or something, or I don't know.
Which one?
Like the one we just did, but make it on a yacht. Can you prompt it to be on a yacht, or?
Yeah. So what helps really with the smartphone style is if you have a reference photo where
Oh,
it looked like, it's hard to describe how a smartphone looks to the AI in text. So it basically needs like any smartphone photo for reference, um, to avoid like this sort of too pro too AI look. Um,
okay, gotcha.
yeah. So I guess we can even just take maybe just this one, and then we do like very different, and then we can do a model on a yacht with hot models.
I would not say hot models, just attractive girls.
Okay.
Yeah, let's try this.
Okay, so now the reference photo is, of course, like not what we want at all. So I don't know how
Yeah,
this turns out. It would help if the reference photo was from a boat.
yeah, and you can upload your own reference. That's funny.
But yeah, yeah, that's true. Sorry for breaking off, but you can upload your own photos of someone like.
Well, that one, yeah, except for the fact that they're naked. But other than that, this one would be real if they were wearing clothes.
Yeah, and I guess maybe the prompt here was a little bit naughty. You could do something a bit less crazy if you wanted to. And I guess here I actually became one of the girls also. So
Yeah, you did. It's the middle one. That's you. All
let's
right,
see
so
here.
but like this one's pretty good. Like this looks realistic. The only thing I would prompt is for the girls to actually no, they're outside. It makes sense for them to wear a swimsuit. Yeah, like this one is good, I think.
But they do look a little bit like me. But you can
Yeah,
use
but
it.
yeah, but like only if you start thinking about that. Like I don't think that's where the average
Maybe.
girl's mind is gonna go. I just
Yeah,
don't think. Yeah.
maybe that's true. Maybe I just looked at AI photos too much now. But yeah, I guess you can watch these generate. Oops.
Yeah, some of these are quite solid actually. Yeah, like this one looks very real.
Well, maybe it's better than I remembered.
Yeah. No, this is good shit. So basically, you can already actually do the thing that the person was asking. Really, like
Yeah.
I think like uh, the the one that's like top right, but not like the three girls, the one to the left of that. That
The
one
one I
looks
just
very
opened?
yeah. Like I think this one is just like very real looking.
Right.
Yeah. So there we go. Um, but yeah, okay. So let's tell people. So someone asked, how much does this cost? So yeah. So just
Oh,
kind of break down the pricing options and whatnot.
oh yeah. Oops.
If
Just
you guys have
looking up.
any questions, get them in now.
Yeah, so it's on the website here, unrealphotos.ai or .io. Sorry. These are the pricing options here. So essentially, you can do 300 for a month or 500 for a year, or you can get the lifetime deal where you just have unlimited access for forever, essentially.
Yeah, I mean that looks like definitely uh, probably the best way to go if you want like a lot of photos, or if you want just a few, then just do the monthly.
Right.
But yeah, good stuff, man. All right, is there anything else we should tell the guys?
Yeah, I mean, there's a small link under here, try for free. So if you're skeptical, you can go on there and you can use my test model, the one we've been using now. So if you don't believe the footage, other than that, I don't know. I
So
think
it's
we've
like
been.
a free trial that they can do, right?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, there's no time limit to it, but you just can't make your own model. So essentially,
oh,
I think you can make 50 photos, and then you can only make them of me, just
okay,
because my model is already made. So it's just like to see that stuff works if you're skeptical.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, do we get to provide the reference photo?
Yeah.
Yes. Like
Yeah, exactly. So when you're here in the Create Photos tab, you can drag and drop your own photo in there, or you can use the ones I provided.
oh my god, this is amazing. Is there some PWF discount? The PWF discount's already included. It's already pretty cheap. No, like let me think on my end. Okay, here's a discount. If you get if you sign up, I'll give you 300 free credits to fire text or something, or 200 free credits. So there we go. Just email me with the receipt. Uh, does it get better the more photos you train the AI with? It's no, I don't think so, right?
Yeah, no, it's made for, so you have to do 40 photos, and it cannot be more or less than that. And that's how I can consistently get great results for everybody, because you use the same amount of photos, or not just because of that, but that's one of the parameters that help. Otherwise, you would have to sort of dig into the model trains gradually, essentially. So at one point, it's going to be overtrained where everything looks shitty, or undertrained where it doesn't look like you. So you have to hit the right point during the training. And the way I can predict that, or one of the ways, is with people doing the same amount of photos.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
yeah.
But yeah, guys. So if you're interested, check it out, unrealphotos.io. If you have any questions, where can they contact you?
Yeah, I guess I'm not really a public figure. After you sign up, even for the free trial, my email is on there, like in the settings page. I guess, yeah, would that be all right?
Yeah, of course. Uh, and then so he covers that. So when you sign up, he has a whole like fucking instruction manual. We covered this earlier that tells you
Yeah,
exactly
exactly.
what you need to do with examples. Very, very thorough. Why do we need 40 photos when headshot service need like 10, 40 photos a lot? I'm assuming it's just because of the technology. So the AI works the best.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons why the quality is the highest. You'll see online. This is not the only thing, but it helps.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be like 40 cool, unique photos of you. It can be like just maybe you
Yeah.
find 10, 20 random photos in
Yeah.
your camera roll, and then the rest can be like, 10 selfies here and then 10 selfies looking the other way. And yeah.
Think this will destroy dating app apps? No, I don't think everyone will have this in a year. You would make that same argument about fire text, like, oh, dude, like now everyone's gonna have a good text game. No, most guys' text game still sucks. Most guys are not gonna use tools like this at their disposal. They either don't know about them or they're just their egos to whatever. They have too much of an ego to try. So no, it's still gonna be a small percentage of people who are gonna actually utilize tools like this. Because otherwise, at this point, then like no one would have bad text game by now with fire text, but most people still have shitty text game, and most people are still going to have shitty photos. Um, okay, let's do one last question. What if we suck at taking photos with good lighting?
It's I mean it doesn't have I guess I don't know, can I show them your training photos, Alex?
Yeah, of course.
Just to show you, because what happened is I didn't actually get any photos from Alex. I just took them. So let's open it up. So
Well, the first time, the second time, I think I actually sent you some, right?
yeah, true. But for the first time at least, did I guess they're here. So I basically I had some photos from your Instagram, which was good. But then I also had some photos where I basically screenshot a YouTube video. So of course some of these might have good lighting, but these were like you see some of these photos like
No.
were extremely poor quality because it was from a live stream and I screenshotted my screen and all this kind of stuff. So basically to show that the training photos doesn't have to be like super like any kind of like special quality. You just have to put a little bit in for maybe like just stand near a window or like it just turn the light on in your apartment or something like that. But this is like the training photos we used of Alex, just to show you. And then some of the ones you sent the second time. Like just stuff like this, like really plain, like, it doesn't have to be anything special. And even though Alex doesn't have a good sort of smile here, we can still, make good facial features later, essentially.
Yeah, it took me about 2 minutes to take the 40 photos. I just had my roommate get on the phone, just kept clicking, going. It's really easy. It's really easy. Everyone can do this. I appreciate that. Well, now that I've been thoroughly embarrassed, we can wrap up the stream. So yeah, guys.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I don't care. So yeah, guys, if you're interested, go to unrealphotos.io. I'll probably put the link in description, stuff like that for anyone who's rewatching. But yeah, fun stream. We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing like this whole thing play out in like grand scale.
Yeah.
But my prediction is that, like I said, only a small percentage of people are even gonna be aware of this tool, but certainly are gonna use this tool. Again, like this is just the average guy does not have the social awareness or social intuition to think like, you know what I should do? I should like my photos are just not that good. I should like actually go to use the service that I can use to get these photos, and I should pay this money and I should take these like the average person's mind doesn't go there. They're just like, well, I don't know, Tinder must be rigged. Fuck this shit, bro. That's like the average person. Alex, will we make a video showing the results of the AI photos? Yeah, maybe one day. Um, yeah, maybe one day I will. Yeah, it'll be like an experiment. But the thing is, it's like I try not to do Tinder experiments that are very predictable, and I can very accurately predict the results. The results will be good. So it's like, what am I really experimenting? It's like I'm experimenting something I know. I try to do experiments for things where I'm like not sure, where I'm like I think this is true, but I'm not sure. This would be like experiment would be boring for me because I know what's going to happen. The photos are going to do well, like 99.99% chance. So it's like, I feel like I don't know. It's like not that exciting is my opinion. Do you still do open panels? I haven't done one in a while, but I'll do one next Monday. So we do the Monday panel this Monday. Just a lot of people had shit come up, but next Monday we'll do an open panel at the end or in the middle, whatever. Okay, last question. I have some photos where I have a man bun, a few where I'm bald. What happens if I upload all?
Mm, if yeah, it can be a bit of hit and miss. I would say if you there's yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Usually, I tell people to have the same sort of similar hairstyle in all the photos, but I would say that if you do multiple different hairstyles or bald and a man bun, for example, then you might get to a point where you can ask in the prompt like which of the hairstyles you want to use, and then that's the one. And there's also a small risk that it might not look correct. I haven't tested it to be fair, but if you do it and the model doesn't turn out well, just email me. It's on the site and we'll fix it.
Yeah, sweet. It'd be proof for us, not you. I mean, the proof is also there's better proof. It's the fact that we did this like 15, 20 people in the mastermind and they're all happy. Have you had a single refund request at all?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so there we go. So he has a money back guarantee and not a single person asked for a refund. So that's the proof. I think that's better proof than me getting matches on Tinder, which would happen without AI as well. Okay, just two more questions. Can it create a print or bulge in the sweatpants? Can it actually do that?
I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, you just saw it made huge muscles. I mean, we can test if you want, but
No,
yeah.
we don't need to test it. I don't want to be looking at a bunch of bulge photos. Okay, one last question. Wait, I got another question. What happens if I'm skinny versus fat in different photos?
Yeah, again, it's helpful if you look somewhat similar in the photos. So if you made like a huge weight transformation, I would only do the relevant photos, like the newer photos, essentially. If there's some variance, of course, it's fine. But like, let's say you do the 10 photos that I just made before, because I look similar in all the photos, it helps at least keep me consistent. Otherwise, you might both have like a good background and a bad background, and then you might have like you looking fat and you looking skinny, So it just varies more. So I would suggest like trying to keep yourself somewhat consistent.
Yeah, I think there's a very easy solution. Whatever you are now, whether that's skinny or fat, just take 40 fresh photos, and that's it. And you can have the model. If you're too fat right now, you can tell it to make you like skinnier. So, yeah, I mean, like I said, like for me to take these 40 photos took about 2 to 3 minutes. Like it's really fast. Like especially if you have someone that can help you, like just. It's not a long process. It's a very easy process. As you saw, I didn't really try that hard in my reference photos, right? Like they're basically like super duper basic, and I was able to get quite a good outcome. So yeah, but anyway, guys, yeah. So I guess we'll call it there for today. It's like fucking 5 a.m. where Julius is right now, so we'll let him get to bed. But yeah, unrealphotos.io. Send him an email if you have any questions, and if you have any questions for me or whatever, you can send me an email to playingwithfirechannel@gmail.com and all that stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll see you guys next Monday. Take it easy.